Welcome back to Crease Robbery. I am your host, Rob. And today we're going to get into the top 3 things that you guys are doing that is hurting your game in terms of your depth. And I also just want to quickly say, after my last video, it surpassed my expectations by about 100 times. I was expecting like a couple views. Nope, we got in the hundreds. We got like 26 subscribers. So if you enjoyed this video, if you go back and watch the other video and you enjoy it, welcome to this lovely community we're creating of lacrosse goalies out there on YouTube. First of its kind, in my opinion, but it's a lovely place to be. I love to have all you here, and let's get into this video. So the number one thing is you are not deep enough. Here we got Mr. Dylan Ward. He is very commonly far out of his net. In this clip, we can see him doing it just about 2 times really far out. Let's take another look. So if we see him on this first shot, he sees the shooter coming and he immediately pops out pretty far, and then they start kind of driving down the lane here, and he takes a step back and it makes a great save. But then it gets a little more interesting once here again. Another shot's coming and he just pops, sorry, glitch, and he just pops right out to dang near the top of the paint here, right on the white. Like, his feet are literally almost on the white, and he's playing really far out, and it's giving him a really good angle. Once again, ball's getting rucked around up top. He's just gonna come way out and take out every angle and every chance there is to get a ball on net there. So yeah, now I know what you're thinking. Okay, yeah, be further out of your net. Everybody and their mothers told them this. People that weren't goalies, you know, parents that played hockey, they know. Yeah, come out, get on top of your crease, take out all the angle. What if I were to tell you that might actually be wrong? Tip number 2 is that maybe you're too far out of your crease. This is in the exact same game, and this isn't a good example because this is on the power play. Now, this is in the exact same game, and you're gonna be kind of wondering, okay, well, you just told us that we should be too far out and now we should be too far in. Well, let's just take a look at Del Bianco here. Shot from outside, he could come out to the very top of his crease, really take away a lot of net, really, you know, but he opts to stay. And we'll get into that in a minute here, but we're just gonna take a look at some examples on Del Bianco staying in his net opposed to coming way out. Another one, ball's getting passed around. You're gonna see, once again, you'll see him take a tiny little step out, and then he takes another one. But from out here, you're thinking, well, why not just come all the way out? And he's just accepting it. Maybe we'll take, here's an anomaly. We'll take a look at one more. 5-on-5. Ball's up top. Nice pass. Well, you know, this is a really dangerous position. He's got no man on. He's gonna be able to rip a clean shot between these 2 defenders. This guy's out of the play. He's gonna grab it. What's Del Bianco going to do? What is Del Bianco going to do? He could quickly get out here as fast as he can. He opts to just shuffle over into a good position. And as we watch this game, this is happening the entire game. Every set is like this. Dylan Ward's coming way out. Del Bianco saying way in. What is the difference here? What can we learn from this? Well, the tip number 3 is actually a graphic that I'm going to show you. But before I show you, I would like to quickly maybe talk about it. So as a goalie, a lot of us, especially if you're not on the taller side, it is this common notion of that we should be pressing forward and coming out and cutting off that angle. In opposed to hockey, where the puck's coming off the ground, the ball's coming at all sorts of angles around us. And if you're a smaller goalie, the further you come out, the more angle that people have over your shoulders. So a goalie like Dylan Ward that is so huge, massive guy, he can come out to the top of his crease and there's no penalty. There's no penalty to him in his playing. Like, they're not going to shoot it over, they're not going to beat him high, they're going to beat him low or off to the sides or what have you, but they're not going to beat him above. Opposite, Del Bianco around 5'10", 5'11", I believe, similar to my height. The further you come out, the more room you're losing up top. You're losing a lot of size in the net because there's more room over your shoulders the further you come out. And as smaller goalies, you got to be wary that, yeah, over pressing, you're gonna get beat over top. And I dealt with this for a few years until I learned with it. And once I learned it, it was like, oh, okay, well, I can just like hang back a little more. And not that you're being lazy, but you're being more calculated. And you might be thinking, wow, this video isn't really giving me any tips that I need to know. And this is because this is one of those aspects of your game you need to take reflection of, and you need to go, oh, this is part of my style and I have to develop this. Not everything, you can't emulate another goalie in every aspect. You have to figure out things for yourself, and this is one of those things that we have to figure out. But I will give you a slight guide in how this works. Okay, this is a bit of a funny graphic I drew up, but it makes sense. Here we have a little red circle. I'll draw it right here. You see that? There's our little red circle. That is the crossbar, crossways, right? That's the crossbar, and we are this purple brick. Now, these two lines that you're going to see here represent shot paths, right? So a high shot and another high shot. Now, a goalie's probably about, like, well, maybe not here, but for reference, you know, this is the top of our head on a goal crease. Now, the further we move out, right? We're moving out. Eventually, you're going to see ball beats us. This is because the further you go out, the more vertical angle you give up. And that's exactly what we see here, just so you can get a visual for it. And these are just kind of two different angles. So a great big tall goalie like Dylan Ward, he's never going to deal with this angle, not for a long time. A smaller goalie is gonna deal with this for a while. And then also a sneaky thing to think about this, and this is one of my most brain breaking things, is that there becomes a point where you get less angle of return when you're stepping out. So from 0 to 50% to the top of the crease, you're gonna gain greater returns on the amount of angle you cover compared to way far out. I'll try and do a reference for us. Here's my hand, and you are 100% of the way. So this is about 50% of the way to the camera. This is the angle you take off as a goalie from your post to there. You get a lot of return, 50% of the way. The next little bit, the next 50%, you're not taking away as much angle. So really, like with Del Bianco, what I'm trying to say here is, even though he steps out about half as far, he's not getting half the results. He's getting about 75% of the results of how far out you can be while being safer because of his height. And it all comes down to height. I want to wrap this up because I don't want it to be too long. But it all comes down to height. If you have long legs and a short torso, don't be fooled, because you're not going to be able to step out really far and still cover a lot of net. So it's, some people say it's like, oh, like how far you can step is your range, how far you can get to your back post is your range. Not true, because if you have really long legs or short torso, you're still going to get beat. It's still not your range. So really try and pick yourself apart and go, oh, how long are my legs? How long is my torso? how far can I be out and still cover most amount of net? If you're a huge guy, you can come out really far, cover a ton of net, and get back to your posts really easily. I hope this helped. I hope this made sense. I hope this gives you something to roll the ball with. I could do a better video on this if you wanted more in depth, but that's that for now. I hope you guys enjoy. This has been Crease Robbery episode 2. That was good, guys. Thank you for joining. All right, bye.